If you can hear me and see me clearly, please message it on WhatsApp or on the chat box, and sir will be able to see if everybody can hear and see me properly. Good to go, sir?
Yeah,
can they hear me?
Excellent.
I can see a lot of raised hands. I just need a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me clearly. All questions for later, please.
Okay, so yeah, it's ready, Deepika. That was excellent. We started with a miscommunication. Yahan pe gadbad ho gaya tha. So that's nice. And all of you, she is a pilot and she can explain ATC ke andar kitne communication mein, all these problems must be coming. So nice that we started with this little thing. Yeah, I think you can start.
All right. So guys, Ganesh mentioned yesterday about communication. I know some of you were present yesterday and some of you are joining today for the first session. Like we just heard a couple of you guys say that. So what I'm going to start today is by giving you a small recap, maybe just 2 slides of what Sir was trying to convey yesterday. It was a very detailed session. So those of you who have not attended yesterday's session, I will advise go back, see that live video which is there on YouTube so that you know exactly what was discussed. However, let's start here today. Okay, 1 second. Okay, about me. Sir said that I would not like to introduce you too much. There are very few things that I speak about myself. Here is it in brief. Yes, sir mentioned I'm an Air Force pilot. I have served my time over there as a transport pilot. Transport meaning I used to fly Dorniers, N-32s. These are the aircrafts which carry man and material all through the length and breadth of our country. We also take part in a lot of rescue missions, etc. So that is the pilot life. Post that, after my retirement from the Air Force, I have completed my MBA all over again. And after completing my MBA, I became a corporate trainer. I have trained in corporate big giants like Walmart and Fitness First, very different industries from the armed forces. But there are certain things which I feel get ingrained in us as armed forces personnel, which help you in any department, any field, and any company. So those are again some points I will come to in the next slides. After being a corporate trainer for many years in the civil, I have also been taking soft skill training and SSB trainings here in Pune. Just like this online batch over here where I can see and I heard there were many of you who are SSB aspirants. I'm sure this little small session will help you guys go a long way, and you can reach out to sir on the numbers that he has shared already for any other details that you would want in terms of skill upgradation. Lastly, about 4 years back, I started a company of my own, which has nothing to do with training, but it has something to do with making customized handmade products. It's a very different aspect, but I think for me, it was a very natural skill because working with colors and working with my own hands brings me a lot of joy. And it also helps me focus on life better because it gives me a balance between a hectic work life and doing something that I love to do. So now I do both. Like I mentioned that I was an Air Force pilot. So I have trained on 3 different aircrafts, the HPD-32, the Dornier 228, and the AN-32. These are known as some of the AN-32s, at least known as one of the workforces of the armed forces or the Indian Air Force. After which we now do have the IL-76 and all the other bigger versions. But at that time, the option for us was transports. The ultimate at that point was the N-32s. I was an SSB candidate, but if I can be honest, the batch before us, there was zero selection. So it is not that you go and you will get it. A lot of you must have experienced that already. The screening process is very strict, and the screening process is also very meticulously managed. A single mistake which we feel that does not make a difference makes a whole lot of difference in the bigger picture. They are not looking at you as candidates who can run fast, jump hurdles, and have some knowledge. They also want to see a lot of other qualities in you, which come under the OLQs, which can come under whether you're groomable, all of those things. Sir will be able to tell you much more in detail than I can, but please understand, it is not one thing that you need to get right to join. There are a mixture of a lot of things. All right. As a corporate trainer, I have trained people who work on the floor, which is the store floors. When you go into malls, you see all of these executives who work on the mall floors. I've trained from them to this picture, which you can see of here, was of a management training batch in which all of these people who were in the training became store managers or store general managers. There are also batches which I've taken of very senior vice presidents, presidents of the company on various other aspects. Learning has no end. So if I'm trying to tell you about time management can be something very different for a floor staff and very different for a VP of a company. But the concept remains the same. It is done in a different manner and the parameters change a little bit. So training never ends. Trust me on that. I have taken soft skills trainings and SSB batches, like I just mentioned to you. I have yet to see, unfortunately, too many girls joining the batches, but I'm hoping that now it increases more since the induction of women in the NDA as well. And it's always fun, and it is always interesting teaching the young generation who want to join the armed forces, because I'm extremely passionate about the armed forces. Once a 4G, it never goes out of your blood and your stream. So it is always very encouraging to find people who want to join the armed forces. Like I mentioned, I'm also an entrepreneur, and I have my own company called Crafty Ideas. We make products in felt, cloth, and wood. And earlier it was exhibition based, but now it is less on exhibitions and more on Insta and Facebook. But I'm not going to spend much time on that. Let's focus on the training that we are here for today. All right. Like I mentioned, we'll be doing a quick recap of what Sir was mentioning yesterday. Communication. So all of you who were there yesterday were a part of an interesting almost 1.5 hour session in which Sir took us through all the details and the nitty-gritties of an effective and a good communication. Before I start, I'll just take 1 second.
Deepika, the voice got stuck. हेलो ये मैम दीपिका, आपका आवाज अटक गया. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I think there is some problem. Till she comes, I'll take on. I think उनके side से कुछ technical problem है. That's okay. Okay, till she comes, I'll continue from here. All of you are able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I think
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, सभी yes sir मत बोलो. I think उनके side से कोई technical issue हो गया. Let her join back. So, communication is the key. Abhi, just as she's speaking, you know what happened initially? I had to record the session and I had to put it on live stream. वो भूल गया. And then मैंने अपना communication में यहाँ पे अपने mute को press किया हुआ था. So I was speaking, but she couldn't hear, but she just guessed it because of my hand action. So she observes a non-verbal communication. So that was a classic example of miscommunication, because main bol raha tha, but the voice was not reaching. So this is a very important skill, and it is not only limited to this interview. It's a lifelong requirement that you would have realized. And if you can communicate, let's take two people. For example, जैसे मैं engineering college वगैरह में जाता हूँ, there are people who have got technical skills, but वो technical skills है, लेकिन if they cannot present, so somebody with lesser technical skills but better presentation and communication skill, he gets the limelight because he can communicate. So this is one skill that you should not simply leave it to chance and go for service selection board interview. Somebody, yeah, I think Deepika, you're
yes, sir. I am online again. There was a power cut, and I apologize for that.
No problem. I'm there. Apna presentation can load.
All right.
So I have to give you the co-host permission. I'll just do
yes,
that.
Sir.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay.
So this was a communication break example. So let's have the session started again. Deepika, you can start.
Just a second, sir. All right, guys. So we were here. Were you able to hear me till here, till the part that we came to the quick recap?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, now you'll have to just put everybody on mute if it's possible.
Done, Deepika. Yes, you can continue.
All right. So we were doing a quick recap on communication. Like I mentioned, quite a few of you, in fact, if I'm not wrong, were there yesterday for Sir's session. Those of you who weren't there, you will please go and see a video of what we had done yesterday. But just a quick recap, communication is a process of transferring or exchanging information from a sender to a receiver with one or more specific intentions. Yesterday, Sir was trying to explain this to us, and even today, if I am a sender and you all are the receiver and you do not understand what I'm trying to tell you today, then there is a break in communication. We had a short break in communication today, but that was because of technical glitches. But in our real life, we will try to not let our lack of communication break that channel. All right. Yesterday, Sir mentioned about the process of communication and how it is a two-way process. There was a very clear cycle that was explained yesterday. I will just quickly tell you all the major points that were covered. From a sender A, through a medium, which was his phone, we try and transmit or send a message, which is then received by the receiver B on her phone. And then she analyzes it, understands it, and then responds back to sender A. This entire cycle, once it is complete, is a correct example of correct communication. Till here, if you guys have understood what I was trying to say or what Sir was trying to tell you yesterday with connect, convey, and convince, please message them on chat, give a thumbs up, say, okay, understood, so that Sir can also understand and monitor the chat, and we can move ahead with the rest of the presentation. We are building a building here, and we want the groundwork to be good. So this is the building for the rest of the session. If you guys have understood what connect, convey, and convince means as the 3 C's, then let us move forward with the rest of our session today. All right, I can see that there is one message in the chat. All right, guys. I hope you guys have understood about connect, convey, and convince, and the basic channel of communication and how it's a two-way process from me to you and then from you to me. Only then the whole cycle is complete. Moving forward, we had also done this picture, an analysis of this picture. Sir had also shown us one of the answers of one of the candidates who had tried to explain this picture and what he had mentioned, how he had described it. And it was an example of a real example of what a candidate does perceive and write regarding a picture. You will also get a lot of clarity on this same picture once we go ahead with the rest of our steps. We will keep evaluating and coming back onto this picture one by one so that you get an idea of what your understanding of this picture was yesterday and what your understanding of this picture will be after today's session. All right, that is our main objective over here. Okay. Before we go ahead with the rest of the session, please remember you can always subscribe to the YouTube channel from where you can get all the video slides and the entire recordings of the sessions that you may have missed. The number sir has already given to all of you. This is the one common number that is going to be on every screen, every page. You can note it down. You can WhatsApp him regarding all of your doubts and any of the classes that you would want to attend or any explanations that you would want further, and he will be able to guide you best. So anything about authentic communication skills, online classes, or a full psych test assessment and video-based assessment, anything, please message or WhatsApp on this number that is going to be on the screen so that we can keep reverting back to you. Okay. So we are going to start with what is called as the power of expression. I am going to share with you over here the definition which is there in SSB. Abhivyakti ki shakti, expression ka power. Okay. So let's see this in English. It is your ability to put across your ideas adequately with ease and clarity. इसमें क्या है? बहुत सिंपल. Ability is your योग्यता. आप अपने योग्यता के हिसाब से अपने विचारों को कितने पर्याप्त रूप से, कितने सही रूप से और कितनी आसानी से बोल सकते हैं एकदम स्पष्ट तरीके से. The key word over here is clarity. अक्सर मैंने ये देखा है कि हम बोलना तो चाहते हैं लेकिन हमारा क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट नहीं होता है. यानी कि हम क्या बोलना चाहते हैं उसको हम अपने माइंड में पहले पूरा प्रोसेस नहीं करते हैं, बोलना पहले शुरू कर देते हैं. तो 1 मिनट लीजिएगा कभी भी बोलने से पहले and try to analyze and put your thoughts into points and then speak. Don't speak and think. Think and then speak. We'll look at it in more detail when you go ahead point by point, but till here this is just our definition. So the power of expression, once more everybody, is your ability or your yogyata to put across your ideas, आपके विचार adequately, पर्याप्त रूप से and with ease, कितनी आसानी से आप उस विचार को बोल सकते हैं, and clarity. दो चीजें हैं. आसानी से आप तब बोल पाएंगे जब उस चीज के बारे में आपको पूरी तरह से कुछ मालूम होगा. अगर मेरे को गल्फ वॉर के बारे में कुछ मालूम नहीं है और मैं कुछ तो थोड़ा बोलने की कोशिश करूंगी तो मैं उतनी आसानी से या विद ईज नहीं बोल पाऊंगी. आई कांट पुट माई थॉट्स अक्रॉस विद ईज. सिमिलरली अगर आप एक जना बोलता है दैट आई वॉन्ट योर हेल्प फॉर माई इंटरव्यू but you have not told us adequately what is it that you're lacking, or what you don't have a clarity on what are the things that are missing in your preparation, then we can't help you. आपका सब कुछ clarity से होना चाहिए. All right, going ahead. So like you can see guys, the number is going to be up on every screen. In case you need to write it down, please note it down and you can WhatsApp us on that number. So what are the 7 C's of communication? Let's see all the 7 C's. The first is completeness, पूरी तरह से किसी चीज को करना. Conciseness, crisp तरीके से करना. Consideration, दूसरों के बारे में सोच के. Clarity, किसी चीज को स्पष्ट रूप से देखना. Concreteness, मतलब हम किसी चीज को करने से पहले उसकी पूरी पक्की तरीके से रिसर्च करें. Courtesy, दूसरे लोगों से कर्टियस होना. किसी से भी जब बात करें या कुछ भी मैसेज कन्वे करने की कोशिश करें, हमको हमेशा कर्टसी को ध्यान में रखना चाहिए. and correctness. How correct are we in putting across our thoughts? These are the 7 effective C's of effective communication, which we
I think again there's some technical glitch. Okay, by the time she comes, I'll unmute you here so that we continue with this streaming. I'll put your audio on till she comes. Yeah. आप लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है, ये पॉइंट समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Totally, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, consideration, clarity, completeness, courtesy. है ना? इसको अगर आप ध्यान से देखोगे, एक से बोलना नहीं, सुनो, ध्यान से सुनना, थोड़ा नॉइज नहीं करना. देखो कल ये इसको जैसे लेट हर कम, इसमें एक चीज जो उन्होंने बोला कि अगर आपका क्लैरिटी नहीं होगा तो उससे फर्क क्या पड़ेगा कि जो आप बोल रहे हो वो चीज अगले व्यक्ति को समझ में नहीं आएगा. जैसे कल का एग्जाम्पल था ट्रांसमीटर एंड रिसीवर, एंड ट्रांसमीटर की तरफ से अगर क्लैरिटी नहीं है तो रिसीवर को जब जाएगा तो ये आपका एजम्पशन गलत है कि आपने जो मैसेज भेजा वो मैसेज गलत बोल के भी, विदाउट लॉजिक बोल के भी अगले को समझ में आ जाएगा. वो बहुत ही एक फॉल्टी क्या बोलते हैं, लॉजिक के ऊपर काम कर रहे हो. ये बात समझ में आ रहा तो जरा हाथ खड़ा करो. मतलब, और इसका साइक टेस्ट में इसका खतरा इसलिए बहुत ज्यादा है बिकॉज साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट में वंस यू राइट यू डू नॉट हैव द लिबर्टी टू गिव एनी काइंड ऑफ क्लैरिफिकेशन. ये समझ में आ रहा क्या बोल रहा हूँ अकबर?
Yes, sir.
मतलब आप सोच के देखो कि आप साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट में आपने लिख के दे दिया और साइकोलॉजिस्ट आपसे क्लैरिफिकेशन नहीं मांगता. एंड मैं तो साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट में ऑनलाइन सब करता रहता हूँ, तो उसमें इतना बुरा हाल है कि कहीं ना कहीं आप लोग हीरो सेंट्रिक कहानी बनाना. हीरो सेंट्रिक का मतलब कि हीरो बना दिया, उसको ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया. टुडे ओनली आई वाज डूइंग ए साइक टेस्ट असेसमेंट फॉर ए सर्विस कैंडिडेट. ACC के लिए जा रहा था. आई विल नॉट टेक हिज डिटेल्स नाउ. वो बंदा फर्स्ट टाइम जा रहा था और 4 साल के करीब सर्विस हो रखा था, 3.5. नाउ व्हाट ही हैड डन इज, एक हीरो बनाने के चक्कर में, बिकॉज समवेयर उसको एक इंप्रेशन मिला कि हीरो बनाने के चक्कर में उसने क्या किया था कि एक कैरेक्टर को उसने पहले नीचे गिराया और नीचे गिराने का कारण इतना छोटा बनाया और नीचे गिरा के फिर अपने हीरो को लेके आया. और फिर हीरो उससे क्या करता है, बात करके उससे वो एडवाइस देता है और वो हेल्प करता है जो कि वो कैरेक्टर खुद करना चाहिए. कौन सा कैरेक्टर? जिसको पहले नीचे गया. दिस काइंड ऑफ ए कम्युनिकेशन जो हीरो सेंट्रिक है, दिस इज ऑल कंप्लीटली मिसकम्युनिकेशन जो कि फ्लाइट लेफ्टिनेंट दीपिका दलदानी वाज ट्राइंग टू कन्वे. सो शी हैज अगेन जॉइंड. So what we will do is I'll put
internet and light ana jana is something which is not in my control. I hope.
Yeah, Deepika, आपका माइक को अनम्यूट करो. Yeah, Deepika, don't worry, I'm here. आपका कट भी गया तो I'll manage from here, so don't worry. You can continue. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Upload your presentation, Deepika.
Yes.
Oh no, sorry, I have to make you host once again. Next second.
Don't worry, guys. This happens when there are certain things that are always in our control, that is us. And there are certain things which is not always in our control, that is technology or anything to do with the world in general. So we will learn to control our communication and our part of it so that we can try to deal with all of these circumstances. So let me just start from where I had left off. I think I was on the slide of where we were just going to start with the completeness. All right.
Yeah.
I hope everybody can see and hear me clearly now.
Yes, Deepika.
Yes. All right. Going ahead. Okay. Very quickly, the 7 were completeness, conciseness, consideration, clarity, concreteness, courtesy, and correctness. Going ahead, we are now going to look at the first one, which is completeness. When I talk about completeness, I want to make sure that there is nothing missing in my communication. मैं जब भी आपसे कुछ भी communicate करना चाह रही हूँ, मैं कोई point भूल ना जाऊं. That is very, very important. So ऑलवेज इंश्योर कि आप अपने ऑडियंस को, अब ये ऑडियंस आपके इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर्स हो सकते हैं, दिस ऑडियंस कैन बी योर फैमिली, दिस ऑडियंस कैन बी योर बॉस, दिस ऑडियंस कैन ऑल्सो बी एट सम पॉइंट द पीपल हु वर्क अंडर यू or for you. So the communication process must be complete. If I want to tell you something about my work, about something that needs to be done, I need to communicate each and every detail about that thing to you. All the facts with complete clarity. Wherever possible, in completeness, we should provide additional information. Additional information always helps in making sure that आप जिससे बात कर रहे हैं, your receiver does not have any doubts. And that is very, very important. Once they start having doubts, it means you have not effectively been able to give them all the complete information. All right? So that is why you should always convey everything that you know about that particular subject or that particular topic or about that particular problem, so that you are able to not have leave them with no doubts in their mind. Okay, no crucial information should ever be missing. Please make sure that all the information that you provide is always complete. Now we are going to evaluate all of these points on two levels. One for students who will be joining the corporate, and one sometimes for students who are there for the SSB. So why I'm saying it is because their audience is different. We will come to that also, and you'll see that very soon, that the audience in both these cases is very different. So please be aware of who you are trying to communicate with. I am today communicating with a young group of people who are either joining the corporate or the SSB, and they are of a certain age group. But tomorrow, if I want to explain this entire thing to a younger, much younger group, or maybe a much older group, I will have to keep all of that into mind. All right. Consider the receiver's mindset. Please understand who is receiving the message. Like I just said, it can either be your SSB GTO, or it can be the person who has come to your campus for your interview. So what is your receiver's mindset? That is going to determine how you communicate with him. I communicate very differently with my students and very differently with my family. You have to see who the person is on the receiving end. Conciseness. Being concise is a very, very important thing. As far as the, as a pilot, I can say that when you're in the cockpit, I don't have time for long sentences. I don't have time to explain things in detail to anybody or to my co-pilot or get information from my navigator. I need clear, concise message. Concise has a few simple rules. Keep everything short. Keep your sentences short. आप जितने messages अपने sentences को लंबा खींचेंगे, उतना उसमें गलती होने के chances है, उतना आपकी बात समझने में किसी को मुश्किल आएगा. आप अपने sentences को छोटा रखिए. Keep it short. Keep it clear. एकदम clear बोलिए. मुझे अगर टमाटर चाहिए और आप अगर एप्पल लेके आएंगे तो कोई मतलब फायदा नहीं होगा. करेक्ट? मैं अगर आपको क्लियरली बोलूंगी कि मुझे टमाटर चाहिए 6 पीस, शॉर्ट, क्लियर, कंसाइज, आप 6 पीस टमाटर ही लाएंगे और कुछ नहीं लाएंगे. अननेसेसरी चीजें मत बोलिए. जो चीजें जरूरत है उतना बोलिए. कीप इट शॉर्ट. I've added over here one simple rule that I have learned. The formula of KISS, K-I-S-S. Keep it short and simple. It's very effective, and it is the whole gist of the word being concise. It has to, any communication will be effective if it is crisp. आप एकदम जितना जरूरत है उतना बताइए, क्लियर बताइए और छोटे सेंटेंसेस रखिए. आप जब स्कूल में थे, योर टीचर्स वुड हैव टोल्ड यू, लंबे लंबे सेंटेंसेस कॉमा दे दे के मत लिखते जाइए जो 2-2, 3-3 लाइन तक चलते जाते हैं. कोई पढ़ता नहीं है, गलतियां हो सकती हैं, और आपका जो आप बताना चाह रहे हैं it will get lost. Keep it short, keep it crisp, keep it simple. Very, very easy to remember. KISS. All right. Now let's look at the third point, a very, very important point, and we'll take some live examples in this, is the point of consideration. Now, what do you mean by consideration? Consideration means to step into another person's shoes. अब इसका मतलब to empathize with somebody else. Now, अगर आप एक, we'll take an example. अगर आप अपने SSB ट्रेनिंग के लिए जा रहे हैं, all right, तो आपके सामने कौन होने वाले हैं? आपके सामने आपके GTOs होने वाले हैं, आपके सामने आपके interviewing officers होने वाले हैं. Please understand, all of these people who are there today to take your interviews, or even when you're in the campus and you have a campus interviews, all the people who come from the companies, from these big software companies or other companies from their HR departments, have a certain amount of experience that they are carrying with them. They are also carrying with them the knowledge of what they are looking for in the candidate in front of them. If you fit those check boxes, only then will you be accepted for that position, whether it is to join the armed forces or whether it is to get recruited in that particular company. Take into account your audience always. आपके audience का viewpoint क्या होगा, background क्या होगा, mindset क्या होगा, education level क्या होगा. Just like we say that when I have to go and sing at a music concert, okay, I'm a performer and I want to go and sing at a music concert. If I start singing loud, pop kind of songs in an audience which is 50, 60 years plus, will that be accepted? No, it won't be accepted. If it is a younger crowd, 20s, 30s, they like the loud hip hop songs, they will love the concert. But anybody above the age group of 60 will think it is a complete mismatch. So my point is, your audience is most important. All right. Similarly, अब हम इसको उल्टा करेंगे. अगर आप अपने GTO के सामने जाते हैं या आप अपने कॉर्पोरेट में इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर के सामने जाते हैं and they are asking you about your technical skill, it could be coding, it could be anything, and you try and hit around the bush, घूम फिरा के बात करेंगे. So then again, that is not right. These people know exactly what you're doing. Been there, done that. वो भी कभी आपके तरह 20-30 साल के बच्चे थे जिन्होंने जाके इंटरव्यूज दिए हैं और उनको एग्जैक्टली पता है कि जब करेक्ट आंसर नहीं आए ना किसी को, तब वो किस तरीके से बात करता है. आप कितना भी कोशिश कर लीजिए, आप वो अपना घुमा घुमा के बात नहीं कर पाएंगे. So here also, my audience कौन है, that is very important. If I'm talking to a GTO or if I'm talking to an interviewing officer, please respect that person's knowledge. Please respect that person's background and do not hit around the bush. In your language, let me just say that don't bullshit that person sitting in front of you. Talk straight, talk honest, and if you don't know about something, say honestly that I don't know much about this. क्योंकि उनको मालूम पड़ जाएगा. They will come to know. All right. I can see a couple of raised hands. If there are questions, I will take them on at the end of the session. And please be a little patient. All right. Thank you. All right. So another example of consideration and about the audience I'm going on and on about this because this is one of the very, very important aspects for anybody to have a proper communication. Now, when I train team leaders or when I train the floor staff, I have to understand their educational backgrounds. I have to understand their cultural backgrounds. They can be coming from middle class, lower middle class families. They can be coming from conservative families. They can also be just fresh students out of school. So I have to understand that what I'm trying to say cannot have big words. मेरे को उनके लेवल पे आके उनसे बात करना चाहिए. Similarly, जब मैं एक स्टोर मैनेजर्स को ट्रेन करती हूँ, जो मैंने आपको पहले शेयर किया था. When I'm training store managers, I am assuming that they are of a certain educational level. And therefore, what I try to tell them, or what examples I use in front of them, they will be able to understand. So my audience is very important. The audience's background is very important. तो जब आप बात कर रहे हैं, you're talking to one of your own contemporaries. आप एसएसबी में जब जाएंगे या जब इंटरव्यू रूम में जाएंगे, you'll have so many of you in the same boat. You can talk to each other in whichever way you want, because you will understand what is this guy saying. Similarly, please appreciate the people in front of you so that your communication is effective. All right. Very important. The self-respect of the audience always has to be maintained. Please don't ever try to show that you know more. Yeah, there is a certain, how do I say this? आपका औधा कुछ बहुत ज्यादा अलग है. Do not ever try to do that. Never hurt anyone's egos. I know is good, but don't try to let that आपके ऊपर हावी मत होने दीजिए. सामने वालों को रिस्पेक्ट करिए, उनके इमोशंस को रिस्पेक्ट करिए. आप अपने काम को अगर क्लियर क्रिस्प शॉर्ट रखेंगे, टू द पॉइंट जवाब देंगे, बिना किसी ईगो के, बिना किसी हाई हेडेडनेस के, देन आपको ये प्रॉब्लम कभी नहीं आएगी. You will never have that problem. Respecting the person in front of you, keeping in mind their emotions and egos is very important. Okay, so I saw in the beginning, I don't know if the ratios have changed. There was a very small percentage of women in this group who is attending, and a larger percentage of men. Now, this is not a women's live conversation, but how you communicate in front of a woman is very, very important in any organization that you join. When I had joined my FOs, I will give you a very small example. In the first training place that I had gone, in the entire Air Force station, which had hundreds of people, there were only 4 girls. Only 4 girls. So in the initial days, a lot of people did not know how to communicate correctly, but effectively, without hurting the egos and emotions of your women counterparts. So a lot of mistakes were made. Everybody makes mistakes, but we have learned from these mistakes. And because we have learned from these mistakes, we are now able to convey to you that you have to take into consideration what you can say and what you cannot say. All right. This is a very live example which you will be facing on a day-to-day basis. People from different genders, people from different cultural backgrounds, people from different regional backgrounds. Somebody might be from the south, somebody might be from the east, somebody might be from the north, all speaking 3 different kinds of Hindis. A very simple thing that happens every time. Especially in the armed forces, we are a group of people from all over the country working in tandem with each other. So you have to have the utmost amount of respect for the other person in front of you. All right. I hope I've made this point thoroughly clear for all of you. Last but not the least, do not try to bluff. फेंकने की कोशिश मत कीजिए. कोई भी चीज के बारे में थोड़ा इंफॉर्मेशन होना बहुत डेंजरस होता है. या तो जिस चीज के बारे में आप बोलेंगे पूरा सोच समझ के इंफॉर्मेशन लेके बोलिए, वरना zip it, मत बोलिए. Very little information is very, very dangerous. Never try to bluff anybody. बाद में जब आप I don't know what the age group over here is. Some of you might be married, some of you might be about to get married. Don't bluff with your spouses. It's the same thing. Communication is very important everywhere. All right. And the same rules apply. Please believe me. Okay. So we have completed completeness, conciseness and consideration. ये 3 चीजें अगर आपको clear हुई हैं, please message on the chat so that we can come to know. Ganesh sir, you can probably have a look if they have understood these 3 points with clarity.
Yes.
Then we can move ahead.
Yes. Yeah, they are replying.
They are replying.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So let's move ahead then. Thank you so much. Clarity. क्लैरिटी का मतलब होता है कितना क्लियरली आप कोई मैसेज को ट्रांसमिट करते हैं. दैट मीन्स अंडरस्टैंड बिफोर बीइंग अंडरस्टूड. इसका मतलब आई डोंट नो आप लोग कितना इजीली इसको समझ पाएंगे. अंडरस्टैंड बिफोर बीइंग अंडरस्टूड. आप समझने की कोशिश करिए, फिर अपना बात क्लियरली बताइए. ठीक है. क्लैरिटी में like I said before, and I'm gonna repeat it at the cost of sounding like a speaker, keep your things short and simple. आप जितना sentences को खींचेंगे उतनी आपकी clarity गुम जाती है. You lose the clarity of your communication. The shorter the sentences, the crisper the sentences. Brevity की बात करा था हमने, being concise की बात किया था. That brings clarity to your message. All right. Avoid using big words. Avoid using any jargons. Avoid using any मुहावरे. कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Simple रखिए, clear रखिए अपने communication को. You will have less complications. You will have less misunderstandings. Correct choice of words is very important. I heard yesterday a lot of people were saying we are not very good in English. Is English important to communicate? In certain walks of life, yes, English is important because that is your primary language of communication. किसी ने आपको फोर्स नहीं किया है कि आप ऐसा प्रोफेशन ज्वाइन करिए जहां पे English is very, very important. But unfortunately, if you are going to lead a group of people, if tomorrow you have to convey messages to them with clarity, you need to have a certain command over the language. मैं मानती हूं कि मेरी इंग्लिश अच्छी है, लेकिन मेरी इंग्लिश बहुत ही सुपीरियर है नहीं. I don't know a lot of the larger or more complicated words, and it's okay. It's okay not to know the big words. It is okay to know the simple words which help me communicate my point across with clarity. Clearly मैं अपने बात को बोल पाऊं, that is most important. Simple words रखिए, choice of words को रखिए. शशि थरूर बनने की कोशिश नहीं करिए. बड़े बड़े English words बोलने से ही मैं बहुत important बनती हूं. No. It is how clearly you communicate to the people and how effectively they understand कि आपको क्या चाहिए. That is most important. I'll give you an example. I'll tell you, I need a reply to this email by today afternoon. All right, very simple. Everybody understood that if I have sent something to you and I want you to submit that to me by afternoon by the day ends. Very clear. But what is missing? I have not told you exactly when. Afternoon can be from 12 o'clock till 5 o'clock. क्या मैंने आपको बताया कि ये 5 hours के बीच में मुझे कब तक चाहिए? और अगर मैंने आपको नहीं बताया, then it is my mistake. And then my communication is not complete or not clear. I have to mention that I want this done by 2 p.m. today. I have narrowed the window. I have given you a clear time frame. I have told you कि ये 2 o'clock के बीच में आप अपना करके मुझे अपना information वापस भेजिए. Especially clear, especially important for those wanting to join the armed forces, your communication to your team, to the people you are going to lead is going to be of paramount importance. आप अगर उनको clearly message नहीं convey कर पाएंगे, it can be catastrophic. Right? Similarly, for those in the corporate, time is of an essence to everybody. सबके लिए सबका schedule भरा हुआ होता है. सुबह से लेके शाम तक आप लोगों के कैलेंडर्स भरे हुए होंगे. अगर आप टाइम फ्रेम की क्लैरिटी नहीं रखेंगे तो आपको भी वो टाइम से नहीं मिलेगा. आपको अपने बॉस को जो देना है वो भी आप नहीं मीट कर पाएंगे डेडलाइन, और उधर से गाली भी आएगी आपको. Why? Because my message was not clear. I have to give the exact thing. मेरे को सिर्फ afternoon नहीं बोलना है, मेरे को clear बोलना है that I want it by 2 p.m. I have to make sure that I have communicated the correct thing to the person I'm wanting to send the message out. All right. I hope you're clear. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if that's clear. All right. I can see raised hands, couple of them. Great. All right. Let's go ahead. This is something I will keep re-emphasizing. Avoid complicated words, avoid jargons, avoid big words, avoid being Shashi Tharoor, and keep your communication simple and straight. KISS, keep it simple and short. Rat lijiye, this is going to be something that is going to be useful to you to the rest of your life. I have come back to this picture, and I have come back to this picture with an intention कि कल आप लोगों ने जब ये पिक्चर देखा था और कल हमने जब उस कैंडिडेट का पूरा सर ने पढ़ के बताया था कि उन्होंने क्या लिखा है, it was very different if you try to see from what we have done today. We are trying to focus on keeping our communication crisp. We are trying to focus on keeping our communication concise. We are trying to focus on telling the right keywords so that our communication is complete. Now, in your minds, guys, not over here on the chat, in your minds, look at this picture. Take 1 minute, look at this picture. हमने अब तक क्या किया है? हमने अब तक 4 चीजें की हैं. Completeness, concise, consideration and clarity. ये 4 चीजें जो हमने अभी तक की हैं या मैंने आपको समझाने की कोशिश की है, इसके बेसिस में क्या अब आप इस पिक्चर को देख के are you able to form the sentences in your head a little different? That is going to be of use to us. Think about it कि अब मैं ये पिक्चर जब देख रहा हूं या देख रही हूं तो what is it that is coming to my mind immediately? What is it that I am trying to get with clarity, and what is it that I think I can communicate now with, in crisp, concise manner, right? We will come back to this picture again once we have done all the 7 C's. Keep this picture in the back of your mind, everybody, and keep trying to see कि ये हमारे सारे 7 C's इस पिक्चर के साथ कैसे जुड़ते हैं. All right. Once again, please follow the YouTube channel and keep this number with you for all the WhatsApp, for any of the online classes and psych tests, evaluation, video-based assessment. Please reach out to Ganesh sir over the mobile numbers that he has mentioned to you already. And you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. 5th point, we are almost towards the end. We will be taking 3 more points: concreteness, courtesy, and correctness. 3 more points to go. Stay with me, guys. Okay. We are talking about concreteness. Be particular and clear. हम बार बार एक ही चीज दोहरा रहे हैं लेकिन अलग तरीके से दोहरा रहे हैं, ठीक है? No fuzzy generic communication. How do I give you an example of this? कोई भी चीज को अज्यूम करके मत बोलिए, कोई भी चीज के बारे में वेगली कम्युनिकेट मत कीजिए. अनदर थिंग, दिस विल आल्सो हेल्प यू गाइज इन योर जीडीज. किसी भी टॉपिक के बारे में अगर आपको करेक्ट कॉन्क्रीट इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है, मत बोलिए. मैंने आपको ये पहले भी एक पॉइंट में बोला, डोंट ब्लफ, डोंट ट्राई टू हिट अराउंड द बुश. वेगली इधर उधर की बातें करके थोड़ा बहुत ज्ञान लेके मत बात करिए. या तो चीज को समझिए, समझ के बोलिए, वरना उस चीज के लिए मत बोलिए. Always have a concreteness about the thing that you're going to talk about. And it is good to read. The more you read, the more you try to get that concreteness into yourself about any particular topic. कोई भी जनरल वेग स्टेटमेंट्स मत छोड़ा करिए क्योंकि किसी ने किसी कॉन्वर्सेशन में बोला, आपको वो अच्छा लगा, आपने यहाँ पे बोल दिया. मत बोलिए, ठीक है? बी क्लियर, बी पर्टिकुलर. Otherwise, keep quiet. Okay? Always support with facts and figures. Why? I'll tell you. Sorry, I'll go back to that slide again. When I talk about percentages, sir was talking yesterday about percentages about joining the SSB or how many people get selected in the SSB. It is a very small percentage, but it is a real fact when we are talking to you about something, about a very small percentage of people getting selected for SSB based on the entire plethora of assessments that are there. It is a very specific fact and figure. It's a concrete information. Whenever you're trying to talk about, say, pollution levels going up, or air pollution level going up, or you're talking about rape figures going up, crime figures going up in any city or in anything, you might have to talk about anything. So in all of those things, try to know some basic facts and figures. Basic facts and figures are your thumb rule whenever you want to talk about any topic. हर एक टॉपिक जो आज के टाइम में मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट होगा, जो आप लोग सब लोग प्रिपेयर कर ही रहे होंगे. आई एम श्योर यू गाइज मस्ट बी हैविंग अ लिस्ट ऑफ टॉपिक्स दैट यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग. Pick out the most important ones which are very current. Try to read up or try to note down some facts and figures about it. बहुत complicated facts and figures मत याद करने की कोशिश करिए, एन मौके में आपको याद नहीं आएगा. लेकिन थोड़े basic facts and figures अगर आप अपने बास्केट में रखेंगे, तो जब आप बात करने जाएंगे, not only will you be confident, you will have a ease, clarity. हम जो फर्स्ट स्लाइड में बोल रहे थे कि आपके माइंड में क्लैरिटी होगी कि मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ, एंड आप कितने आसानी से बोल पाते हैं, कितने with how much ease are you able to convey. That is what is communication all about. Facts होगा, figures होगा, आप खुद अंदर से कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे कि मैं गलत बोल ही नहीं रहा हूँ. I am telling something which is based on facts. All right, and there is no chance of misinterpretation. कि आगे वाला जो आपकी बात सुन रहा है वो कभी आपको मिसइंटरप्रिटेट कर ही नहीं सकता है, क्योंकि आपने फैक्ट बेस्ड बात बोली. All right, moving ahead. Courtesy. Now courtesy is a very broad spectrum thing. I will try to touch about. हम courtesy किसको देते हैं? If I am expecting the courtesy from all of you towards me, I will also like to give the courtesy to all of you. I don't want to shun you people with anything that you come up as a question. No, that is not being courteous to you. Your question may be very silly for me, but your question might be very important for you. So courtesy is a two-way thing, just like respect is a two-way thing. However, when we are trying to communicate, we have to maintain a certain respect in all our channels of communication, whether it is written or whether it is oral. मैं चाहे email लिख रही हूँ, चाहे मैं आपसे one-on-one converse कर रही हूँ, I have to remain courteous to you and I also have to be respectful to you. इसका एक बहुत simple चीज है जो मैं हमेशा बोलती हूँ, that do not try to let your emotions take over your communication. Emotion of the message important है, जरूर important है, लेकिन आप अपने emotions को अपने ऊपर हावी मत होने दीजिए, आपके communication के ऊपर हावी मत होने दीजिए. Because अगर हम ऐसा होने देंगे, I will either miss out on certain points, or I will write long sentences and complicate things. I will try to say something and then get confused in it or lost in it. इन सब चीजों से हमारा communication lost हो जाएगा. So I want to maintain that be considerate, be polite, be respectful. Let the emotion of your message be very, very courteous, very, very proper. Again, don't try to hide your mistakes. This is also part of courtesy. If you have made a mistake, and that can be in the corporate, you were given a task and you have been unable to complete it in a given certain amount of time, and then you start sending out messages, whether it's verbal or overwritten, कि इसलिए नहीं हुआ और उसलिए नहीं हुआ, and he is at fault and she didn't do it. That's not being nice and courteous, and that's neither being honest. So take the blame. Be honest, be transparent. Do not ever try to put anybody else under the bus. Don't do that. All right. Honesty and transparency is very, very important in all forms of communication, written, oral, with your elders, with your juniors, with your counterparts, with your interviewing officers, with anybody, with your GTOs. If you say that you are able to do certain things, and then your actions are always going to speak louder than your words. If you fall short on that, nobody is going to believe whatever comes out of your mouth next. Never ever let that thing come onto you. If you don't know something, never try to hide your mistakes or do a cover up. Own it up. That shows some kind of character in a person. It shows character in a person who's trying to join the armed forces, who's trying to join the corporate. The character of a person is most important to anybody who's interviewing. As an interviewing officer, or as a person I have also interviewed a lot of candidates who have wanted to join companies. So as a person who's sitting across the table, I will definitely look at the character of a person most, rather than just your technical qualifications. Please understand, soft skills and hard skills are two things that go hand in hand. But the character of a person comes from your soft skills, from your integrity, from your honesty, from how polite you are, how crisp you are, how clear you are in your thoughts. All that is what is going to make you excel in whatever you want to do. All right. Last point for today, or last point out of our 7C's, okay, is correctness. Kitna sahi hai hum? Now, I know that English is not the mother tongue or the first language for many of you. So it is very likely that you might make mistakes while speaking English, which is also why we should keep our sentences short. छोटे sentences में grammatical errors होने के chances कम होते हैं. हमको अपना spoken English practice करना है. And there is nothing that I can say more than practice. If you know, first is to accept that this is not my strong point and I need to focus on that. My thoughts are clear. मैं क्या बोलना चाहता हूँ मेरे को exactly पता है, लेकिन अगर मैं उसको ठीक से communicate नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, तो my communication is lost. My chance is gone. So use the correct choice of words is very, very important. Yes, if it is not your strong point, you will have to work on it. How you work on it, अब हर individual का अलग होता है. कुछ लोग होते हैं जिनके पास thoughts है, सब कुछ है, confidence नहीं है. Confidence को ठीक करने के अलग tricks of the trade हैं. आप सामने देखिए, आप मिरर में देख के बात कीजिए, आप लोगों के सिर के ऊपर देखिए. I tell my daughter, she's 6 years old and she had to go for poetry and song competition for the first time. In the COVID period, nobody has faced audiences ever. So this is the first time she was going to face an audience, and she's 6 years old. And we told her only one thing. We don't know what stage fright is. At that age, they also don't know. You also don't know. But the only tip I gave her was look at the hair or the head of the person in front of you and say whatever you want to say. These are small tricks of the trade. But when we know what is the problem, if my problem is that my spoken English is not clear, I will keep on speaking English. I will keep on listening to English till I get my spoken English correct. If that is the only thing जो मेरे को पीछे लेके जा रहा है, then I have to work on it. मेरे को करना ही है. I have to not say that this is my problem. I have to say that this is my problem. How do I solve it? All right. So spoken English is something that comes only from practicing. मैं non-Maharashtrian हूँ, married to a Maharashtrian. मैं गलत मराठी बोलती हूँ. मैं अपने घर में गलत मराठी बोलती हूँ. क्यों? क्योंकि मैं गलत मराठी बोलूंगी तो कोई मेरे को करेक्ट करेगा और फिर मैं वो करेक्ट चीज सीखने की कोशिश करूंगी. बट अगर मैं गलत मराठी जानती हूँ, इसलिए मैं मराठी बोलना कम कर दूं, तो मेरे को और भी ज्यादा नहीं आएगा. So if I'm not very good in English, I will speak English more. I will make those mistakes. I will let somebody correct me. Somebody who I know is better than me in it. Let them correct you. If that is not the thing, keep listening to things. Today, you guys have access to so much of audio data. It is unbelievably good. When we were joining SSB, there were no training sessions. There was nobody to guide us, and there was not so much of data. Keep listening. The more you listen to the correct things, the more that correctness will go into you. You will stop making grammatical errors. You will stop making language errors. You will stop making tense errors. Past tense, present tense में हम गलतियां करते हैं. Gender में हम गलतियां करते हैं. He, she में हमेशा गलतियां करते हैं. ये small mistakes हम अपने आप ही correct कर सकते हैं. Very small things, but these are just some of the things I thought I'll share with you. Now, once again, you can follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on WhatsApp. You have all the numbers in front of you. You know that we will have more sessions on upgrading soft skills. We will have it on psych test assessments, video-based assessments. Please reach out to Sir on the WhatsApp number or join us on the YouTube channel. This was from me, but I have one more point. So when we talk about communication, we also talk about two types of communication. Person to person and person to mass. So आपको हमेशा ये ध्यान रखना है कि हमने इतना सारा जो किया, 7 points of communication, clarity से बात करना, concise तरीके से बात करना, अब मैं एक आदमी से बात कर रही हूँ फोन उठा के, या मैं माइक के सामने खड़े होके मास से बात कर रही हूँ. आज आप लोग 70 लोग से ज्यादा हो, ऑलमोस्ट 99 लोग स्टूडेंट्स थे जब हम लोगों ने ज्वाइन किया था, कैंडिडेट्स. सो इफ आई एम टॉकिंग टू more than one person, what is it that I need to convey and how is it that I need to convey? And when I'm talking one-on-one with somebody over the phone or over chat, how is it that I need to convey? Please always keep that in mind before trying to communicate with people. When you are in a group discussion, are you communicating to all the people or are you communicating one-on-one? Have you ever tried to analyze that? One of the things that we tell you when you are doing a GD is to look, have eye contact and talk. Are we having that eye contact with one person or are you trying to have that eye contact with multiple people? That will show your confidence, that will show your clarity of thought and how well you have been able to communicate. So that was one point that I had in mind. I don't know if I have taken too much of your time or have I maintained the time slot, but I would like to end this part here, and yes, we will take your questions. Ganesh sir, if you could also please be online now.
Yeah, good evening. No, you have not exceeded the time. I think you covered it very well, and I really enjoyed because today I'm on the other side, and I was comparing the style of presentation. I am a very aggressive presenter, whereas you are very sober. So it was very nice contrast. I really enjoyed, and I think you did a good job. Thank you, Deepika. I think we can remove the presentation and I'll put the audio.
Yes.
On the way.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'll unmute all of them.
All right.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself, all of you. And I want, if the girls are there, other than Purvi and Manisha, I saw. If there are others, I'll request you to please come. And anyone from AFOS, जो AFOS में जाने वाला है, or somebody from AFOS background, जो ACC है, I'll request they also to come. Maybe some of you may know her also. Yeah, please. Anyone, any question? Yeah,
guys, you're free to ask now. You were raising your hands in that time, so
raise your hand, and if your video, you can put it on.
If you can put your videos on, it will be. I would love to see all of you.
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am,
I can't see you. If you can just put your video on.
Yeah, ma'am. I started my video on, ma'am.
Okay, Manish.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Can I ask something, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, at one place you have said that if we don't know the things, then we should be silent. We should not speak anywhere. We
Correct.
should have correct information. And at
Correct.
the second place, it was contradictory. You said that if you are saying something wrong, if you are having the less information, then we should speak and we'll learn something. Like you give an example of Marathi language. Like if we don't know, if we speak, then someone will correct us. So it is
Yes.
somewhere contradictory to each other. So where should we follow? Or where should we go, ma'am?
Okay. When I'm talking about making mistakes in trying to hone a particular skill, I'm talking about your grasp on the language. I'm not talking about your grasp on the knowledge.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the nuclear powers or about the problems in Israel or the all of those things going on. No, not about those things. To learn from your mistakes about those things is before you go for your SSB or before you go for your interview.
Okay.
That is not the place to go and commit mistakes in that genre. When I'm telling you to make mistakes is when you are still preparing yourself.
Okay.
When I am trying to learn Marathi, which is not my language, I'm making the mistake so that I make myself better. But I'm not doing that in front of 10 people when I have to go and present. That is not my place to learn.
Okay, ma'am.
That is my place to show my knowledge, and that is my place to tell with clarity what I want to communicate.
Thank you, ma'am.
Am I making myself clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
दीपिका, can I just add one more thing? Can I just
Please.
ये मनीष देखो ना, कल हमने बोला था कि कम्युनिकेशन के दो पार्ट है. वन इज द कंटेंट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन, सेकंड इज द लैंग्वेज.
Yes, sir.
है ना, आपने दोनों को मर्ज करके उनसे सवाल पूछा. नो, शी इज नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट ब्लफिंग व्हेन कंटेंट कम्स. शी इज लर्निंग लैंग्वेज मराठी.
Right. Yes, sir.
इसी तरह से अगर इफ आई एम वीक इन इंग्लिश, आई हैव टू स्पीक एंड मेक मिस्टेक, बट इफ माय कंटेंट इज रॉन्ग, so please differentiate. She meant
Yeah.
content में गलती.
Got the point, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, anybody else?
Sir,
Yeah, please.
yes, ma'am. I wanted to ask something.
Yeah, ask. पूछो, क्या नाम है आपका?
Hello.
हाँ, बोलो.
Hello. हाँ, sir, I'm Babu.
हाँ, बोलो.
Sometimes, sir, when I'm practicing GD or lecture it, sir, I find that I completely go blackout and cannot remember anything to speak. So, sir, how can we deal with such situations?
Deepika, would you like to answer?
So you answer first. I'll tell them my point after that.
देखो, what is your name जिसने पूछा ये सवाल?
Sir, it's Doibayon.
Okay, देखो होता क्या है ना, when we go blank, what happens is the flow of thoughts get restricted. Your flow of thoughts get restricted, and because the thoughts are restricted, now it's not coming into the expression. Now there can be multiple reasons. One can be कि आपके पास content है लेकिन there is pressure, performance pressure, or you feel मेरा confidence नहीं है. There can be multiple reasons because it's not coming out. Now how to correct it? You have to work on both building the content, practicing it, and practice it so much that आपका वो डर ही निकल जाए. So fear of performance ना, स्टेज के ऊपर चढ़ना, ये सब अगर आप प्रैक्टिस नहीं करोगे तो इवन इफ यू हैव कंटेंट विल गेट ब्लॉक्ड. और दूसरा है, अगर आपके पास कंटेंट ही नहीं है और यू लैक कंटेंट, यू आर शैलो कंटेंट कर रहे हो, तो नेचुरली वो आपका अटक जाएगा कहीं पे. इट इज़ लाइक फायरिंग कर रहे हो, आपके मैगजीन के अंदर गोली नहीं है, अटक जाएगा. सेकेंड है, गोली है, फायरिंग पिन खराब है. So you have to identify where is the problem. But मेरा अपना experience, and I'm sure Deepika will also agree with that, कि when you don't prepare yourself and you don't practice both in terms of building the content and practicing delivery, ये सब problem आता है. And then if you fear too much about the outcome मतलब रिजल्ट से अटैच हो जाओगे, देन ऑल्सो इट अफेक्ट्स योर परफॉर्मेंस. सो मेरा तो ये सजेशन है, बिल्ड ऑन योर कंटेंट, प्रैक्टिस डिलीवरिंग इट, मच टाइम, वो फियर को ही ओवरकम कर लो. दैट्स माय टेक ऑन इट. दीपिका कैन ऐड.
So I'll just add to what sir has just said, that definitely building on your content is very, very important, because building of your content will give you confidence. One of the simple things I told in the presentation was get facts and figures. कई सारी चीजें होती हैं जिसके बारे में हम बहुत कुछ बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन वही चीज अगर हम थोड़ा सा फिगर्स के साथ बोलेंगे, इट विल एड टू how well we talk about it. Remembering some small facts and figures will always help you when you have a problem like this. But there is one of the reasons is also that there is too much information. When we have too much information about something, it jumbles up in our head and there is no clarity of thought or clarity of communicating. हर टॉपिक के बारे में ना अपने शीशे के सामने खड़े होके keep practicing for 1 minute. आपको खुद पता चल जाएगा कि आप रुक रहे हैं कि नहीं रुक रहे हैं. If you are getting stuck and getting blanked out, or if you are not. If you are getting blanked out, try to remember some keywords in your head that when this topic comes, I have to say this number. It'll give you the confidence to say the next sentence and then the next sentence, and then there'll be lesser chances of you blanking out. So practice, 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 and get some solid content which you can remember without cluttering your brain too much.
बिल्कुल. Anybody else?
Have you been able to answer your?
Yes, बिल्कुल. मतलब you know, she said something what I didn't say. Content ज़्यादा हो गया, and if you're not able to organize it, then also it can lead to problem. Yeah, anyone? Any girl?
Yes, sir.
Any girl, Purvi, Manisha, if you're there, or anybody else. I don't know who else is there.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question.
किससे?
Yes.
नाम से?
Sir, ma'am से है.
हाँ बोलो ना.
बोलिए, please बोलिए.
Like ma'am, you told us to practice in front of mirror for improving our communication skills. So like, how should we practice? Like we should read it from some paper, or first we should?
No. Okay, so this is a very basic thing, but it is a very simple thing. If I had to talk about 7C's in front of all of you, right? It is the content that I want. I have pages after pages written about each and every aspect of the 7C's. But what am I going to say in front of you? So I have to make mental notes, which to begin with you will take on paper. आप 5 चीजें नोट करेंगे. 5 चीजों के सेंटेंसेस खुद अपने बनाएंगे. बना के शीशे के सामने अपनी आंखों को देखेंगे और उसको रिपीट करेंगे. और वो 5 चीजें आप याद करेंगे. आप हर एक चीज के बारे में टोटलिटी में नहीं बोल सकते हैं. So what you have to do is you have to make those notes. You have to memorize those things if need be. Look at yourself in the eyes and talk about that. That is how you practice in front of the mirror.
Thank you.
You understand? You can't talk about everything. But why are we practicing in front of the mirror? Because अपना कॉन्फिडेंस ठीक करना है. हमको सामने खड़े होके जब हमसे कोई टॉपिक पे बात करता है तो उस टॉपिक के बारे में बोलना आना चाहिए. और मेरा अपना उसका नॉलेज कितना है वो मैं खुद ही असेस. I can fail in front of myself, but I don't want to fail in front of an interviewer.
Ma'am, my question is, whenever we practice or do any task, we often have doubt on ourselves whether we are true or not. How to manage it?
First of all, I would like to know your name, if you can please tell me.
My name is Amit Gupta.
Amit, just 1 second. I hope I have been able to answer the question for the person who asked just before, Amit.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So Amit, your question was that you yourself have a doubt sometimes whether you are correct or not. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. We have doubt that we are at the state of that we are true or not. Sometimes we have doubt.
काम करो और फल की चिंता मत करो. ये हमको बचपन से सिखाया गया है. You have to focus on doing your work. Whether you are selected or not, whether you have gotten through or not is a next stage. That doubt cannot come when you are performing. If that doubt comes when you are performing, you will never be able to give it your full shot. आपको अपनी तैयारी 120% करनी है, जिससे कि आप कहीं पे भी जाके जब अपीयर करेंगे तब आप अपनी पूरा नॉलेज अपना आप उधर दे सके. That is it. That is all you can do. That is all I can do. Like I said, I have prepared to present to you guys. But if the electricity goes in the middle of my lecture or the network internet का चला जाए, that is not in my control. Similarly, outcome is not in your control. Outcome is based, I told you, is not based on one thing. आपका knowledge कितना था सिर्फ उतना जरूरी नहीं है. आपने physical training पास किया कि नहीं सिर्फ उतना जरूरी नहीं है. The outcome is an amalgamation of a lot of things. तो आप उसके बारे में मत सोचिए. अगर आपको कोई डाउट्स है अपने कंटेंट के बारे में, तो अपने आप को पहले प्रिपेयर करिए, प्रैक्टिस करिए, पढ़िए, लोगों से कम्युनिकेट करके बात करिए, बट वो आपको इंटरव्यू या टेस्ट जाने से पहले करना है।
ओके मैम।
थैंक यू अमित।
या मनीषा।
हेलो मैम।
हाय, गुड इवनिंग।
हेलो मैम, आई एम ऑडिबल?
Yes, you're audible. Your name, please.
Ma'am, my question is that how I will manage written as well as written like SSB or FCAT as well as with SSB?
All right. Your name first, please.
Sikandar.
Sikandar. Sir, would you like to address him once?
Yeah, okay. देखो आपका सवाल है कि रिटर्न और क्या बोलते हैं, व्हाट इज इट कॉल्ड,
SSB, FSB या SSB
बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि नॉर्मली जो बच्चों का क्या, इनफैक्ट एवरीबॉडी, आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ अस द मिस्टेक दैट वी डू इज कि हम पहले 1 से 2 साल तक रिटर्न में एम्फेसिस करते हैं, रिटर्न में मैथ्स, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री जो भी है, अंडरस्टैंड कि मैथ्स, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री सब करके अगर आप रिटर्न क्लियर भी कर लेते हो, 20, CDS or whatever, this is the first ticket and this ticket will take you to the SSB. और SSB में जाने के बाद अगला एक स्टेज 1 है, और आपको पता था स्टेज 1 में जो रिजेक्शन रेट इज वेरी हाई, 75 to 80%, and only if you clear the stage 1 then you go to the SSB. And SSB का जो main SSB है, that is for psych test, G2 and interview. What mistake people do? This question is very actually relevant, because one major mistake most of the people do is they spend almost 1.5 years for clearing the written, और उस टाइम तक SSB की चिंता नहीं करते. Then when the written का result करता है, then they go to some coaching center and the conventional model is 14 days. Now please understand, आप written test में जितना invest करते हो, you're preparing for academic test, whereas the SSB is a personality based selection, and उस जो कि main assessment वहाँ पे है, their clearance is going to take you to the academy. उसके लिए जो 14 डेज का मॉडल है, इट इज एब्सोल्युटली इनकरेक्ट, बिकॉज 14 डेज में ना आप कम्युनिकेशन कर सकते हो, ना आप अपने आप को, सो मेनी एस्पेक्ट्स टू कवर. नाउ योर क्वेश्चन इज हाउ टू टेक इट टुगेदर. यस, एब्सोल्युटली राइट. आपको पता है कि एसएसबी में जा रहे हो तो कम्युनिकेशन स्किल, आप ये जो बात कर रहे हैं, कम्युनिकेशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट एंड द लैंग्वेज रिक्वायर्ड इज इंग्लिश. I think instead of doing it in days or 1 month, you can start it from the day you decide. In fact, by SSB, आपको पता है this is a requirement even if you go for corporate. I think that language skills का development is one thing that you can do from the beginning. Second, you also know कि physical fitness, certain degree of physical fitness is required for the SSB. You start that. वो भी starting से कर सकते हो, sports, games, hobbies and interests. Last में हम fake लिखते हैं. Why don't you take up a small hobby, maybe reading a book or maybe playing or whatever, छोटा मोटा चीज जिसको कि साथ ले जा सकते हैं. Now, the bigger test is psychological test, G2 interview. यहाँ पे मैं आपको एक चीज बोलता हूँ SSB के बारे में, then we will see उसको कैसे कर सकते हैं. Today,
सर एक सेकंड सर, वो दीपक की जरा म्यूट करवाइए तो सर. वो
दीपक कौन है यार? अपना माइक को बंद करो.
हेलो सर, सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू.
दीपक
सर, समवन माइक इज वेरी डिस्टर्बिंग.
मैं एक काम करता हूँ, यहाँ से म्यूट करके फिर दोबारा खोलता, अगर आप खुद नहीं करोगे तो. मैंने ये बोला कि एसएसबी के बारे में एक चीज मैं बोलता हूँ, ध्यान से सुनना. व्हेन यू गो टू एसएसबी देयर आर 2 थिंग्स. वन इज व्हाट इज बीइंग टेस्टेड, and that is your personality. Second thing is how is it getting tested. That is using 3 testing tools: psychological test, GTO and interview. Unfortunately, what is happening is, once you go for the SSB, you go to wherever coaching center, the entire focus is not on what is being tested. That's your personality. The entire focus is on how to do TAT, WAT, which is the testing tool. So the thing that is getting tested, it is being ignored, and how it is getting tested, that has become the syllabus. You take on any book of SSB, you will find SSB का मतलब TAT, WAT, screening ये. So that's a flaw. Now the question is, क्या आप written के साथ में TAT practice करना? No. what you can do is there are 2-3 videos वो आप मुझे message करना और in fact whoever wants you can message me at the numbers that ma'am has already shared. There is a video by the name YLC syllabus. YLC is Young Leadership Course at Chennai. उसके syllabus में I'll give you some of them. You know, decision making, problem solving skills, conflict resolution skill, how to develop observational skills, discriminatory skill, decision making skills. These are intellectual skills. Next is emotional skills में empathy, self awareness, self regulation, social intelligence, social regulation. अभी ये क्या है मैं एक साथ नहीं बोल पाऊंगा. These are not something to do with TAT, WAT, SRT. These are certain skills that you have to learn. How do you take the initiative? क्या आप लास्ट मिनट में कुछ रट के इनिशिएटिव करते हो? आपको एक साल पहले से आपको स्टेज पे आना पड़ेगा, बोलना पड़ेगा. डिटर्मिनेशन, व्हाट इज डिटर्मिनेशन? इट इज नॉट कि मैं आई एम वेरी पैशनेट बोलने से. डिटर्मिनेशन इज when you meet obstacles and setbacks, your ability to bounce back and once again, you know, sometime you can दीपिका मैडम ने बोला नहीं है, you go to her, आप flight lieutenant दीपिका मारना, you will find this person who has taken this class. There's a story, it is on our YouTube channel and there is lot of information available. This person has gone through a major tragedy in the life and she has bounced back. Today when she was speaking, I was thinking about the way she has come out of it. This is phenomenal. Now, can this be trained? No, this is not trained. This is something inbuilt in her. So I'll request you to go and see there. Liveliness.
Yes.
Liveliness is not something muskurata hua chehra. Liveliness is your ability to bounce back when you meet failures and setback. Can it be trained? Can it be done in 14 days? No. Prolonged period? Yes. Prolonged period? Yes. Determination, courage, integrity. ये सब चीजें, these are values that cannot be taught, or that cannot be, it may be taught in 14 days, but you cannot imbibe it. So these are all life skills and these things can be integrated. Now, since you have asked this question, I will suggest you to all people who are preparing for SSB, we conduct a module called self-management leadership, which is like building the foundation before you build the tall building. Now, she also mentioned in the beginning that unless your foundation is strong, you cannot make a tall building. So I'll cut the answer short. We run a program called self-management leadership. So you can, contact us and we will tell you uske upar kya hai. Couple of videos to as a reference. SML Mind Matters. Note kar lo. SML Mind Matters. Second is self-awareness key to success. Self-awareness key to success. These are all videos in the AFOSOP YouTube channel. Third is development of emotional resilience. Development of emotional resilience. एक और वीडियो है जिसका नाम है परसेप्शन मैनेजमेंट ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स फॉर इम्प्रूव सिलेक्शन. Perception management of candidates for improve selection. There is another video, begin with the end in mind. What is the right strategy to prepare for SSB interview? So I cannot tell you because it's a big question, but all these things are already made. अगर आपको वहाँ से समझ भी नहीं आता, revert back to us and we will recommend you कि build your foundation before you build up a tall building. एक और वीडियो मेरे को दिमाग में याद आ रहा है, उसका वीडियो का नाम है What is the syllabus of SSB? What is the syllabus of SSB? Now what you can do is, anyone who is there, you can send me a message on my number asking for a list of videos which you should watch, which you can use it for beginning से अपने preparation के लिए. And there is a video for a school. इसका school का नाम है AFPI, Armed Forces Preparatory Institute. उनके parents को have taken a workshop on NDA का बच्चों के लिए था कि how should you strategize your entire training over a period of 2 years. तो I'll share you those links. Because यहाँ पे उसको बोलना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा. So go through that, and any one of you interested in this self-management leadership course, please revert back to us. In fact, Deepika madam will also be part of that. इससे पहले I used to conduct, there were other faculties, so I'll do that. So it is possible to do that provided you know what needs to be done. So, and you don't have to practice TAT, WAT, SRT because that's a testing tool. You have to build up your character, strength of character, resilience, stress handling and all those stuff, which if you know and if there is a correct guidance, that can be done. So good question, but a very long answer to justify. I don't know, Deepika, you can add on something.
No, there is nothing left to add, sir. You're absolutely put it correctly. But remember, guys, when we are trying to join something like this, or when we want to get even employed in a good with a good employer, Our preparation cannot start 15 days before the interview.
Absolutely.
Even when we are in college and we are doing engineering or we are doing computer science, and we know that eventually we are going to join a company at a certain position, our preparation for the interview has to start in at least a year or at least a couple of months before, to prepare ourselves as a whole person.
Absolutely.
Not just the technical part. Like sir mentioned, it is a personality development. It is your personality which is going to be assessed. It is not just one particular technical skill. टेक्निकल स्किल आपको सिखाया जा सकता है, आपकी पर्सनालिटी कैसी है वो हमको समझना ज्यादा जरूरी है.
Absolutely.
So sir has mentioned a lot of the videos. Please go through them. Please reach out on the WhatsApp number so that we can tell you. Also ask questions on this video eventually on YouTube, and we will be able to answer with more references to all of you.
Yeah, like ma'am said, इस video को it's live stream. उसके नीचे you can put your questions and we'll take on that. We'll get back to you through videos or whatever source, and you can put your number also. We'll revert back to you.
Yes.
Sir.
Yeah, एक second. Let's give girls one chance. We have a lady officer here, Manisha. Manisha, and who is the other girl? Purvi, or anybody else who is there? लड़कियों की आवाज ही नहीं आई.
Yes, sir. Myself, Tanu Sharma.
Tanu, put your video on.
Hello, ma'am and sir.
Please put your video on.
Hello.
कहाँ है? Hello तो सुनाई दे.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
We want to see you, Tanu.
Hello, ma'am and sir.
Yes, बोलो.
Yes, hi Tanu.
Sir, मेरा I have one. Yeah, hello, ma'am. I have one question, ma'am. मैम जैसे हम रूरल बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं और मैम जैसे हमारी कोई उसमें स्पोर्ट्स अचीवमेंट नहीं रही है, सो मैम हम जाना चाहते हैं मतलब डिफेंस में एज वेल मैम CDS एग्जाम एंड FCAT एग्जाम थ्रू. सो मैम नॉट मैटर ना कि मैम अगर फिजिकल फिटनेस इज नॉट गुड तो मैम आगे इशू बनेगा. और मैम क्या कर सकते हैं मतलब अपनी फिजिकल फिटनेस को ठीक करने के लिए. और मैम कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स के लिए तो आपने बता दिया.
तनु, मैं इसको एड्रेस करूंगी, क्या चीज आपको बताऊंगी. अगर बाकी लोग थोड़ा म्यूट में रह सके तो मैं तनु की इस छोटी सी क्वेरी को बता सकूं. तनु, जब मैंने ज्वाइन किया था और मैं SSB के लिए गई थी, तब मेरे पास ना तो कोई NCC का बैकग्राउंड था, ना ही मेरे पास फिजिकल क्षमता बहुत ज्यादा थी. मैं एक बहुत ही
sorry.
Okay, I have unmuted myself. तनु, मैं आपको बता रही हूँ, जब मैंने SSB ज्वाइन किया था मेरे पास कोई बैकग्राउंड नहीं था. मेरे कोई आर्म फोर्सेस में, मेरे पूरे खानदान में 100 पुश्तों में कोई नहीं है. I was the first one who decided to join and decided to go for this as a whole experience. मैं बहुत ही बारीक पतली दुबली सी लड़की थी जो एवरेज थी. आई एम टेलिंग यू वेरी ऑनेस्टली, I was a very average person. I was not an athlete. I had 0 medals. I had 1 year of NCC service. I was not in any of the criteria which you fit for a person who's joining the armed forces. और मेरे बैच में वहां से 200-250 से ज्यादा लड़कियां आई थी. लेकिन उसके बावजूद हम 3 लड़कियां सिलेक्ट हुए थे पूरे SSB में, जिसमें से सिर्फ एक लड़की थी जिसके पास पूरा NCC का बैकग्राउंड था. बाकी दोनों लड़कियों में बैकग्राउंड नहीं था. मैंने बहुत सारे ऑब्स्टिकल कोर्सेज में बहुत सारी चीजें क्लियर नहीं करी थी. मुझे मालूम है मैंने क्लियर नहीं करी थी बिकॉज मैं वो पूरा कंप्लीट ही नहीं कर पाई. मेरे बॉडी में उतना स्ट्रेंथ ही नहीं था. मेरे को पुलअप्स करने नहीं आते थे. मेरे को आखिर तक पुलअप्स बहुत मुश्किल से होते थे बिकॉज एवरी बॉडी, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, इज मेड डिफरेंटली. Everybody's capability is different, but what the GTOs are also checking is not कि आप कितने pull-ups कर सकते हैं या कितने obstacles clear कर सकते हैं या कितना तेज भाग सकते हैं. They are also seeing whether they can mold you into the kind of person they want you to be. There are a lot of other things they are assessing you on. Please, अगर आप किसी एक चीज को लेके घबरा जाएंगे तो वो नहीं होगा. आपको इस ही माइंडसेट से जाना है कि मैं वहां जाके अपना फुल करूंगी. हो पाया तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, नहीं हो पाया तो मैं ये सीख के आऊंगी कि मेरे को अगली बार के लिए क्या तैयारी करनी. एज सिंपल एज दैट. मेरे पास ना PABT, मैं जब गई थी मैं एज अ फ्लाइंग ऑप्टी गई थी, तो उसमें PABT लाइफ में एक बार कर सकते हो आप. लाइफ में एक बार, आपके पास सेकंड चांस होता ही
Yes,
नहीं है। तो पीएबीटी के लिए जब मैं गई थी, मेरे को वो मशीन चलानी आती ही नहीं थी। मेरे घर में कंप्यूटर नहीं था कि मैं बैठ के कंप्यूटर गेम्स खेलती। आजकल इतने सारे ऑप्शंस हैं आप लोगों के पास करने के लिए, मेरे पास वो सब ऑप्शंस थे ही नहीं। लेकिन फिर भी मैं सिर्फ उसके बारे में समझ के, पढ़ के, अपने तरफ से प्रिपरेशन करके गई थी कि अगर मुझे ये करना है तो मेरा माइंड कहाँ होना चाहिए, मुझे क्या कैलकुलेट करके करना चाहिए। आई गेव इट माई 110%। कुछ चीजें लगी, कुछ चीजें मिस हुई, लेकिन एज अ ओवरऑल जो असेसमेंट होता है वो जीटीओ बहुत सारी चीजों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए लेते हैं, सिर्फ एक चीज को लेते हुए नहीं। सो डोंट गो थिंकिंग कि मेरा इसमें अचीवमेंट्स नहीं है, मैं अगर नहीं कर पाई तो गो थिंकिंग कि मैं इसको अपना 100% दूंगी, उसके आगे भगवान के ऊपर छोड़ दो।
okay, ma'am.
राइट तनु?
Good,
Yes,
Tanu.
ma'am.
All the best, Tanu.
Actually, I
All-
got a question.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Am I audible?
I think Deepika will take one or two questions, then we'll wind
Yes.
up. That will come too late. Yeah.
We'll take two questions, one from a gentleman and one from a woman.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, shall I go forward with my question?
Yes, please go ahead. Tell me your name and tell me your question, please.
Okay, my name is Srinivas Dukre, and my
Okay.
question is to you, Deepika ma'am. So this thing is about communication purely. So it's been now like over 1 year now that I'm trying to talk in English at home as well, and to be articulative and improve my expression skills as well. So over the period of time, there's this one thing which I'm doubtful about is sometimes it happens to be like that. When we try to communicate with someone, so it feels very flawless, and at times it feels as if like there is something which is not going with the flow, or there is some sort of I can put it this way, that the performance hasn't been up to the mark.
Okay.
So ultimately, what question rises in my mind is it because let's say that I try to speak in English with my friends as well to improve my English.
Yes.
So if one of my friend who is not that good at English, so is it in any sort that it is impacting my English as well? That at time when I try to speak with them, ultimately even I am also somewhere making few mistakes. So is his English impacting my English, or is it just the psychology which is created in my mind?
Yes,
So how
Srinivas,
is
I'll
it
take it very quickly from what I understand from your question. First and foremost, I would like to say that you speak quite well. So don't doubt how you are communicating. Your level of communication that is required as of right now is absolutely okay. We are not expecting that the children who are, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say children, you're all young adults. The people who are coming for us for interviews or at the SSB are expected to go and address a gathering for a political speech. No. We are not expecting that out of you. What we are looking for is whether you are able to communicate to us your thoughts with clarity. How you speak to your friends, yes, it does matter, the kind of people you keep around you. And I will say that don't always blame your friends for your lack of communication skill. It could also be a lack of your knowledge skill. So when we try to fumble, when we try to tend to make mistakes, it could also be because the content in our mind about that particular topic is not good enough or not sufficient enough for us to communicate with confidence. Your language as of right now, from what I understood when you spoke to me and asked me a question, is sufficiently fine. You don't have to worry about that bit. Try to concentrate, go beyond that now, and try to concentrate on the content. Sir has been saying this, I have been saying the content is king. You have to have content and you have to have confidence in your own self. The biggest thing, like I was telling Tanu also, the biggest thing you need to have in yourself is the confidence that I can do this. Unless you have the confidence in yourself, you will keep questioning yourself. The question of self-doubt will keep on coming into your mind, and you will not be able to express clearly what you want to say. Don't let the self-doubt come in. It is not a question of language anymore. It is a question of content now, is what I feel.
Understood, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Srinivas.
Yeah,
I will take one more question from a lady.
एक second, Manisha.
Manisha, yeah.
Yeah, good evening, sir, and good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Manisha.
Yeah. Ma'am, first of all, I'm just passing my heartily gratitude to both of you for conducting this session. I think I've been listening very patiently since starting of the class, and all my doubts are very well cleared. I don't think I have any doubt regarding that, ma'am.
Thank you so much. You've been very patient trying to get your hand raised up and get a chance to speak as well, and I've noticed that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Acha, you just came to say thank you. Great, Manisha. Chalo, thank you, Manisha, for being part of this session. है ना?
Thank you, sir.
I think Deepika, I think we can wind up.
Yes. I think we should wind up for today, sir. And if any of you have any questions, and I know some of you might still have, please write those questions down as part of the chat, as a part of the YouTube link. And we will try to get back to you with as many answers as we can, with links that we can share with you, with more content that will help you do better in whichever field you guys are appearing for, whether it is SSB or whether it is any kind of a corporate induction. So, sir, handing it over to you now, and let's call it a day for this session.
Thank you to all participants who are here till the end, and thank you, Deepika, for this wonderful session. I really enjoyed. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Bye.